Two battleground states, two completely different strategies. How will it pay off for each candidate with weeks to go? Former Deputy Assistant John Ullyot, who worked inside Trump's National Security Council as well as the communications field in the U.S. Senate. He also has a new book out, The Biden-Harris Betrayal, Weak and Woke on the World Stage. John, welcome back.
Thanks very much, Chanel. Always good to join you.
Well, I'm so excited about this book. I love the format of it and, the format of the mini essays going into all of these incredible topics. Congratulations on publishing it. Lots of wisdom to be gleaned from it, I'm sure. Talk to us about these divergent strategies. What do you think?
Well, it's amazing, Chanel, and you really framed it up well in terms of President Trump working at a McDonald's there, and just think about he's so at ease and he's just such a genuine guy. There's no other politician who could pull that off because he's not a politician. He's a regular guy. He had a reality TV show that was #1 for about 14 seasons. He's somebody who is very good, and that's why he's very good with world leaders, is because he treats everybody the same and he just has a conversation. He's completely relaxed. Can you imagine some stuffed shirt like Mitt Romney when he was a candidate in 2012? Trying to do something like that, in a McDonald's, it would be a disaster. Same thing with John McCain. And so it shows that, he has that real connection with everybody.
I don't know if you remember this. I saw those. I saw how Mitt Romney was on the campaign trail back in New Hampshire when he was running for president. You were there on the ground. You were one of the OG teams for Trump in New Hampshire. And the difference was so clear, right? And you hit it just exactly. The difference between authenticity and someone who is comfortable being around everyday people is so telling. Look at Kamala Harris go and volunteer for FEMA, and look at this footage of Trump in McDonald's. You're exactly right.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so that's why completely Kamala is somebody who doesn't relate to people. I think she had something like a 97% turnover of her staff when she was vice president. And the same thing, the people were, I think there's some guy who wrote an op-ed about how his son was told not to look at her at all when he was in her office at the AG's up in Sacramento. And so she's somebody who not only doesn't relate to people, she talks down to people. She has no way of managing anything. And so she's the opposite. That's why they're hiding her. She's completely fake. And it's great of President Trump, by the way, to just point out how nobody has come forward. Not a single person has said, oh yeah, I was a coworker, or hey, I was a friend of hers even, and I dropped her off or picked her up every day from her McDonald's thing. She said she worked there 2 different summers. I mean, give me a break. And so for him to really show that and just show how fake she is by at the same time underscoring how he's #1, very relatable, just an average guy who gets along with everybody. And #2, that he is very much confident in the way that he is coming across to voters in Pennsylvania.
So, John, I want to go back to your early campaign days when you were working with Trump. You were literally in that first office in New Hampshire for Trump, 2016, when he first blasted onto the scene as a presidential candidate. You clearly saw something in his mission and his message that resonated enough that you were one of those early guys to jump in and help. You saw him go on to the White House. You worked inside the White House.
Right.
What has surprised you about Trump as you've watched him over the years?
Well, just a quick clarification. I was started very early on with President Trump, but I ran his communications up at the convention, and then we went to Trump Tower right after that. So I was never on the ground in New Hampshire, but people on our team were there, on my communications team for all the battleground states. And so, but anyway, the way that we saw him evolve, and I went over very early on to his campaign, was one of the first DC guys to go over there because everybody was backing establishment candidates like Jeb Bush and whatnot.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.